I'm Yuri.
I'm Jacob.
And we're going for a drive.
Everyone be trying to race you in my Maserati? Let's go then. I got a brand new V8 Ferrari engine. This one pushes 580 horsepower. Show them straight pipes.
'21 Maserati Ghibli
Trofeo with launch control. Awesome.
Horsepower and torque.
572 horsepower, 538 pound-feet of torque from a Ferrari-derived twin-turbo 3.8-liter V8.
The first V8 in a Ghibli.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome. This thing has been refreshed for 2021.
So I should probably,
Yeah. Give me some more. That is such a smooth engine.
but a little bit quiet. That's how new cars are. But before we get into that, what's the competition for one of these?
So this would be like a BMW M5. This would be an E63s.
Sedan.
Yes, that's right. This would also be a Cadillac CT5V Blackwing, which we recently drove, Audi RS7, and kind of a Dodge Charger Hellcat.
Because Stellantis.
Exactly.
And price.
and price.
Speed.
Yep.
And what's the starting price for one of these bad boys?
$110,240 US.
I mean, it's an Italian four-door luxury sedan with a Ferrari motor in it. Kind of makes sense.
It does.
Okay, what do we want to start with?
Do you want to start with the looks, or do you want to start with the horsepowers?
I kind of want to do looks because we haven't done a Ghibli before, but we have done a Levante and a Quattroporte.
Yes, and we've driven the Trofeo version of the Levante, which we loved so much, so let's start with this front end.
It's a Maserati front end, and everything's been slightly updated since previous Ghiblis, but we haven't driven any previous Ghiblis, so we don't really know the precise things they changed.
Yeah, so I'm kind of glad that this is my reference point, considering, the best one I've driven is the V8 twin-turbo one. But anyways, front end, it does look really good. The headlights look pretty cool.
Normal Maserati, the grille is awesome, the emblem is awesome, but when you put a plate on here, right now we're running manufacturer plates, pulling a nice little sneak move to get under the radar. But when you run like a Euro plate, it's cool at the bottom. America plates kind of suck.
Yeah, they really do.
Then our hood, we actually have heat extractors, which are pretty cool. And if we pop the hood, what do we have?
We have that Ferrari-derived V8, which has a cross-plane crank instead of a flat-plane crank like you'd get in a Ferrari.
Yeah, I mean, it is a Ferrari motor.
Yeah, which is why it sounds so different than Ferraris. And the engine block is painted red, which red is the color of speed, as you can see throughout this entire interior and exterior with all the cool accents.
Okay, yeah, quickly on this interior, I love this color choice. You can only really get it in red as a fun color, and then like a nice peanut butter. Glad they went with the red.
For sure. So back to the outside accents. So we have red accents on the Trofeo badges on the outside, which look awesome. And then we also have the vents, which are outlined with a little bit of red.
I think they're fender ports.
Whatever you want to call them. I know they have a fancy name, some kind of Italian name.
I like it. And then we do have an Italian flag on the beat pillar, which shows it is handcrafted in Italy, or crafted in Italy.
Yes, pulled right off the Dodge Charger assembly line.
I don't know. I don't know what it all means.
Sorry, Stellantis.
But in the video, they said crafted in Italy, so I'm gonna go for it.
And then from the side, it actually looks really good. I like these simple 5-spoke wheels. They're like, they have triple spokes in each of the spokes, but they're 5-spoke essentially.
We got nice big Maserati brakes, and what will be the Continental recommended tire for a Ghibli Trofeo?
The Conti Sport Contact 5.
And then from the side view as well, this paint pops very, very hard in certain lighting conditions. Really a lot of metallic, and I love the way it looks. The body lines are fan-friggin-tastic.
Yeah, it's a great looking car from the side.
And because this is a Trofeo, the fast one, Trofeo means trophy because I guess it wins or something. We do have the red line trident on the C-pillar.
Again, red is speed, but it looks really cool having that though.
Yeah, that's how you know it's the fast one. And then also, we have no frames on these windows.
Yep, which I would expect.
That's awesome though, because I think the Cadillac have them? Probably, seems like they would.
I don't know, maybe they didn't. I don't remember actually. And if you're shopping for a Maserati Ghibli, click the TrueCar link in the top right corner or in the description below. There's a discount when using the StraightPipes link.
And before we get to the back end, I want to push it into cliche corner.
Ooh, send it, holy crap.
Oh God. I'm gonna take it easy.
Yeah.
Okay, it wants to slide out, and it's got so much power coming out of corners. Good thing it's got like really good brakes.
Yeah, this is only rear-wheel drive, so the back end does want to step out on you. And it's
Yeah.
not available with all-wheel drive, which is cool.
Only the SQ4, but the Trofeo Levante is only all-wheel drive.
Yes, but then the Trofeo Ghibli is rear-wheel drive as well.
You
Sorry,
mean Quattroporte.
Quattroporte, sorry.
Yeah, no, this is like, I could definitely see why you'd want to go to tsp.TrueCar to take a look at this car.
For sure.
And then onto the rear end, we've got the new style boomerang taillights. Nice solid lines. They look pretty good.
I kind of miss the, Maserati's known for like the Kia Stinger style lights on the Gran Turismo.
Yeah, well, Gran Turismo is like a special one, which they don't sell anymore.
It's coming. All the spy shots are coming out, so I'm excited
Yeah,
for that.
well, there's a gap. It's not on the website right now.
No.
And then speaking of the website, when you go looking at the Ghiblis, this doesn't fall under the Ghiblis. This falls under the Trofeo collection, which we'll talk about in a second too.
Yeah, they're trying to make it fancy, which it is.
Okay, more rear end stuff. We don't have a wing or anything. We've just got that nice Maserati badge, the little chrome part that swoops down. I love how it's not aggressive at the back of the top.
Yeah, and then we have real exhausts, and they look pretty good. Let's take a listen to the outside, though.
A little quiet.
Yeah, a little bit quiet, especially in Corsa mode, which is your loudest mode. It is a valved exhaust, which is nice to have because this car is actually dead quiet for daily driving.
Oh my God, you roll up your window, you're, oh, I'm in a luxury car, I forgot.
Yeah, you put it into ice mode, really cool name, by the way, and then it's just dead silent.
Increased comfort and efficiency.
Which is true.
And then you also get a pretty cool rear diffuser.
And it's all carbon fiber because this is Trofeo, so special.
Overall, looks wise.
I think they nailed it. Like, compared to a regular one, I'm definitely glad we did not drive a base model before driving this one. I think this looks great.
Compared to the competition, this
It's
is
unique.
Way more rare, way more unique. Everyone who's seen me with this was so like, oh, you got a Maserati. Like, no one cares. It's like, oh, you got an M5, cool.
Yeah, my real estate agent asked if I bought this. I'm like, no, I did not, but...
I think this gets the most attention out of all those.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless you want, like, takeover attention, then you get the Charger, but then it's like, you kind of ruin the car industry for everyone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Damn it. But then back to that Trofeo collection before you drive. When they announced it, they showed one of each of them in red, white, and green for the Italian flag.
Which are great colors.
But they don't offer those colors here. Like, the blue is like the coolest color you can get in this.
That's kind of funny.
Like, it would be cool if you offered it in those colors, even though the take rate would be low, but it'd be cool press cars to get all three together.
Yeah, somebody will buy all three just to have that. Some very rich person.
And an MC20. That's a
Yes.
prerequisite for the MC20.
Doors up.
All right, your turn to drive. Full brake pressure, left paddle, start.
Launch control. That is so smooth.
It's like pulling the spine out of my back. There's so much thrust out of that.
Yeah, there's a lot of torque for this. Like, this feels great. And I did not use these column-mounted carbon fiber paddles. This is a ZF 8-speed unit. Shifts lovely. Like, just really quick, really smooth. I really like this transmission in here.
And your launch control, you have to be in drive, so that's why we don't do the paddles when we launch. And there's a lot of people trying to race the Maserati guy on TikTok. I think if Maserati guy had this car, it'd be very difficult for all these broke boys to try to chase him down.
Ooh, where's your Maserati? But now I do have some complaints. These carbon fiber paddles are amazing. However, this is the first car that I have driven that the backs of my hands are hitting the carbon fiber paddles when I'm touching the steering wheel because I feel like the paddles are too close to the wheel.
And I understand your complaint. However, if they spaced it out any further, you wouldn't be able to reach the turn signal with my size hands. So I feel like there's nothing else we could do, but I would like to measure this, and I want you guys to comment with your Aston Martins, with your Ferraris, with your Alfa Romeos, and with your Maseratis, what the distance is from the steering wheel to the paddle. Please leave a comment below.
Because we have driven other vehicles that you have just mentioned, and I have never had that issue with other column-mounted paddles.
But I totally didn't really feel that issue while I was driving around, so I think it's maybe more of a you thing.
But you did notice that they actually hit your hand, you're just not bothered by it.
I think like once in a while, but that might have happened on the other ones, and since you never brought it up, it didn't come to my attention.
So we also do have the buttons on the back because this is a Stellantis vehicle, so you have your radio controls, your volume.
Just like on my Fiat 500 Abarth. Shout out Euro Compulsion, did all the sick parts for it, and now it's super fast, and we're gonna race against this Fiesta soon.
Yeah, can't wait.
European Automotive Oakville did a ton of work on them. They're gonna be awesome. And then, I mean, they also do stuff on cars like this.
Yes, and so does Euro Compulsion.
Yeah, shout out all those guys.
But having this V8 here with these paddles is just, it's such a joy to drive this car. Like, I didn't expect it from a Ghibli, which is really cool because in my head, a Ghibli is the Doug DeMuro thing.
Doug ruined it for everyone. Now everyone hates Maseratis, but these are awesome cars.
Yeah, he really did, because we like the Quattroporte, we love the Gran Turismo. This I have never driven before, but this being the first one I have driven, in my head, the Ghibli is awesome.
Yeah, like...
But I'm not done complaining.
Okay, my theory is the people who hate on Maseratis because of Doug's video are the same like Tesla fanboys who just defend Tesla for anything on Twitter. So if you hate Maseratis for no reason, you're as bad as a Twitter Tesla fanboy.
However, Doug did have some valid points because some of those things have transferred over to this car, and now I will get into those very briefly. So we do have window switches, which I have seen in several Stellantis vehicles, like a Dodge Charger and a Chrysler Pacifica and things like that. So if that's the type of thing that bothers you, this does have those exact switches.
And the turnstock you hate, which I get the turnstock. I mean, they should probably just put buttons on the steering wheel like a Ferrari, but this stuff does not bother me.
Right, exactly. And I could see a lot of people not being bothered by that, but in the segment of what this is, it's noticeable.
Yeah, but then I mean, if you drive an Audi, those buttons are going to be in a GTI the next 2 years anyway, so it's kind of similar for that too.
But at least you get them in advance of the GTI, like the Charger has it at the same time as this.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of weird.
Exactly. And then speaking of other stuff that's carryover, well, not carryover, but shared with other platforms in the Stellantis brand, we do have the infotainment from basically everyone, which is like Uconnect.
But this is the newest one.
Yes, exactly, which is actually very good. We don't not like it, I'm just saying it's the same.
I think it's good that they're using a good system.
I agree.
Because like Alfa Romeo had some like weird kind of stuff, and this is very functional. We'll talk about it more later because it's a little bit boring, but I love the infotainment.
And then speaking of all that stuff around here, we do have the hard buttons, which again are shared with other Stellantis stuff.
For the climate control stuff?
Yeah.
But it's very easy to use, and it is hard button, not like a lot of other dumb cars where it's like, oh, use this touchpad to change your vent through the infotainment.
Yeah, exactly.
Friggin' idiot. Well, you never used a computer while driving before?
Yeah, no, I'm not saying these necessarily are complaints. I'm just explaining what's shared.
You just want it to be a different shape.
Yeah, and then
finish.
We also have the center gauge cluster, which is shared with everything else, and then it is very laggy. So that is actually like, I hate how laggy the actual gauges are because it shows your speedometer digits very quickly, but going through the sections are very, very laggy.
Yeah, I just kept it in the speedo, but the tack, the analog on left and right is so awesome. I love these needles.
That is juicy.
It looks like a heavy needle getting pushed from all the power when you go through everything and driving. Like, I love it. But what if you did a launch, not launch control? Let's see what that feels like.
Okay. We also forgot the cup holder test. That's a full pass. And we also forgot the visor test. Fail. Paddles. Not as quick off the line, but still very exciting.
I feel like you get a lot more chirp between gears, but what would a proper 0 to 60 be?
0 to 60 would be around 4 seconds with launch control and great conditions.
And then the main competitors for this, the M5 and the E63s, those are all-wheel drive ones. They don't come in just rear-wheel drive, but you can launch them in rear-wheel drive, not proper launch control. I think it'd be good to see a race between them because like the E63 just held on with the Hellcat in rear-wheel drive.
It still did beat it.
But yeah, it was like right there, like dead even.
Yeah, and the Cadillac CT5V Blackwing is rear-wheel drive and offered with an automatic, so that would be the direct comparison to this.
I don't think this should have a manual option, and I'm fine with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just give me big fat paddles. That's a Maserati thing.
But how cool would it be with it? Because like the Cadillac we love because of the manual as well. So anyways.
Yeah. Can I counter some of your earlier complaints with some things I like?
Go for it.
Perfect radar cruise lane keep.
Oh, like almost the best in the industry at this point.
I absolutely love it. It's great. We have a nice 360 camera through this infotainment. No hard button, but I understand that it's less expensive to do it this way. And you can see everything. It's like not the highest res, but I mean like neither is a Porsche Taycan, so whatever.
And related to that, we also do not have a hard button for the heated and cooled seats because it's in the infotainment.
And then I'd like to counter that with a real shifter. That's very nice to use. And the mode buttons for everything are super easy as well.
It actually kind of looks like the Cadillac one.
But nicer.
The automatic,
this is much nicer.
Yeah.
And then you can do up for down, down for up shifting. So if you don't know where your hands are, where the paddles are through a turn, you can do that pretty easily too.
Take your hand off the wheel, old school manual.
Ken Block style.
And then we do have carbon fiber down here, which looks really, really nice. Much nicer than the type of carbon fiber that would be offered in a Dodge Charger Hellcat.
Yes, okay, and the sound system in here, very, very, very good.
Yeah, you can't get a Bowers and Wilkins in a Hellcat.
And infotainment-wise, we have Apple CarPlay that is wireless, which is kind of weird, but it is nice to use. It's been pretty convenient, like getting in it, like if I owned it every single day. And then we got this little compartment here that's felt that pops out. You put your phone in, it goes in there, and it's also a wireless charger. However, it doesn't always wireless charge.
And they don't actually offer wired CarPlay, which would have been nice, but it also does have Android Auto. So this entire time I have been driving in Corsa mode, which is definitely the best mode. There's also Sport mode, which is slightly below Corsa. But the funny thing is, when you're in Corsa, you get full suspension, you get one traction off, and if you turn their suspension down, you're back into Sport. So they're like, nah, like this is Corsa, and this is the way Corsa is.
Corsa is a fine Italian recipe. And if you change something, it's not the same and it doesn't count.
And then we also have ICE mode, as we said earlier, so the drive modes are pretty self-explanatory. And the adaptive suspension is actually really good. It is Maserati's Skyhook suspension, and there is a noticeable difference between the stiffest mode and the softest mode, and for daily driving, this has been great in every mode.
And before you send this thing into Cliche Corner, our seats are very comfortable, a little bit firm.
Yeah, like extra firm that I don't really like, but I haven't been uncomfortable. It's just noticeable.
And then our back seat room, I've got plenty of room behind myself at 5'8", and Jacob's got plenty of room at 6'1", behind me at 5'8".
But not behind me at 6'1.5".
And then for our child seats, we threw them in the back there, and they're angled too much. You need to make sure you put something underneath it to get it the right angle.
And then the latch is also difficult to get to.
It's deep.
Yes,
And
but
then
it does exist. And we've got this rear sunshade, so I'm gonna block out the haters and send it into Cliche Corner. And there is quite a bit of body roll. It is noticeable, but this is more of a GT car. The brakes are fantastic, and this thing does rip. Like, this engine is awesome. And we're gonna get some oversteer on exit. I love driving this. The only thing that sucks is that the steering is very vague, but you can still do whatever you want with it. You just kind of don't know exactly what your wheels are doing.
It's definitely not on the side of the M5 CS and the GT3 from Porsche.
Yeah, no.
But, you know, it kind of makes sense that it's not. Maybe the MC20 will have that kind of steering.
It'll have a smaller wheel because this is also a very large wheel, which makes sense for a GT car, not so much for like a sports car. And part of the predictability and why it's so fun to drive this and be able to like power out of corners, this does have a mechanical limited slip differential in the back.
Yeah, and it's fun when you're kind of powering out, like you get that nice lean, you can feel the weight transfer. Like, I don't mind the like super stiff suspension on this at all.
No, and I wouldn't want anything stiffer than this. Like, this is great.
So is that pretty much everything with the new Maserati Ghibli Trofeo?
I'd say so.
Before we get to the price, click the TrueCar link in the description below for discounted price offers.
So this starts at $131,380
Canadian.
and this one is optioned out to $139,005.
Makes perfect sense considering what it's competing against, and since this is like a lot rarer, I like it.
Yeah, in the ballpark of all the competitors except the Charger Hellcat Red Eye, which kind of sort of competes with this for a cheaper price.
But it's not a luxury car.
No, exactly.
But
not
it's
at all.
Stellantis.
Yes.
Which one would you take? Well,
I mean, I'd have to just go with the Hellcat. It's just so ridiculous. It doesn't.
But say it had to be a luxury car.
I'd kind of go Blackwing just because it's a manual.
I think you got me there.
Yeah.
All right, guys, take it easy. Cutting our video short, no outro.